Rick, I know you're from Australia, but you deal with a lot of this capital all the time. What's driving that capital? We've seen it over the last couple of years, but perhaps in the last year we've seen more and more of that capital heading towards Europe.
I think the general theme coming out of Asia is pension funds, pension funds, pension funds. I think that's what's happening, and Phil talked about it a bit before, but we're seeing the Malaysian funds, 2 or 3 of them, you know, really some of the most aggressive buyers in the world into the UK. They're increasingly looking into Europe. That's, you know, obviously the normal players of QOP, PNB, EPF, so they're really moving.
Why is that though? Is it just diversification, or?
They've got huge funds, and they've just got to, they don't see the same growth or stability or transparency in their own markets, and they just have to, I mean, if you're a Korean fund like NPS and you buy every building, the country will sink into the water with all the money, so they've got to go somewhere else. Yep. And I think that's a similar theme for a lot of these pension funds. Into Australia, we've also seen, obviously, Korea, NPS buying 4 buildings, even a German pension fund through Reef. The Singaporeans, that's a very big theme. All the different government-linked companies have 40% ownership by the government, which is ostensibly pension funds. So they're getting very aggressive globally. Pembroke, that was a very surprising deal into Oz with the Johnson family, so that was also quite impactful. But I think that theme, and also with Japan now being allowed to buy real property instead of fixed interests at 0.5% or 1% or something, that is something that will really get moving. Plus the Chinese life companies able to buy property, and the next step is offshore. So you need to duck because there's going to be a lot of money coming. Then I think finally the Aussie super funds have got this 9.5% coming in. They're starting to awaken from their torpor, and they won't go into the sort of stock they did before, but they'll go in with partnership with other institutions similarly minded. So
if we're looking a year ahead, would you expect to see more of that capital in terms of Asian capital, Australian capital coming into Europe?
I think in about a year's time, we're already seeing Q Super, QIC, we're seeing some of our, you know, the future funds bought 2 things. Everyone's trying to kick them in the bum to get going and do some more, while the time is right, but I think they will get going.
So general question, do you think that capital, obviously London took the lion's share of that capital in the past year, do you think that capital is becoming more comfortable with Germany, Spain, other markets? Peter, maybe?
Yes, I fully agree. I think that's probably also the advantage of CBRE, that we are so connected. We're getting the information.
Nice plug.
There.
Like that.
Couldn't avoid it. But we're getting the information that this kind of money is actually coming into Europe, for sure. Yeah? And I know that I've been talking to Rick for years about where's the Australian sovereign money, when's it going to hit Europe, and it's now we're seeing that's, you know, we're talking to the guys now. That's the first step. They're trying to understand the markets, and then I would agree, give them another 9, 12 months, and then they'll hopefully be there if nothing really serious happens, for sure.